Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. We're back for episode 5 of the Tudor Times today, and after all the mince pies, after a big Christmas dinner, we are back for the festive fixtures. It's Boxing Day, it's Hemel Hempstead v St Albans, it's a local derby of sorts, and it's a club that are absolutely flying against a club that are fighting relegation. We've also got Havant and Waterlooville away from home, a promotion rival for Hemel Hempstead Town. But my prophecy has come true. The tactic was okay. The players were okay. And as soon as that team cohesion went past the average mark and got into the green, we have gone on one hell of a roll. So if you're looking forward to finding out how we've been getting on, a new signing we've got to meet to, and a youth intake preview to glance at as well, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. We've got this one every day at 11:30 throughout the beta period, and the head coach later today continues at 3:30. We'll also be live on Twitch at 6 PM every day this week with Derby County as we continue our beta save. It's been an incredible, eventful start, I think it's fair to say. But today, the focus is solely on Hemel Hempstead Town because we've just made it to the summit of the National League South, ahead of Big Money Ebbsfleet, ahead of some really good sides. But I'm not getting excited just yet because if you have a look at the table, Chelmsford, who are in 13th place, comfortably in the bottom half, are 8 points behind us. 8 is next to nothing really, but we're in brilliant form. There's so many positives on and off the pitch, and the first one is the solution we definitely needed. We saw the last episode. I think I overreacted a little bit. On paper, it looked awful. The results looked really poor. But when I went back and looked at the games, we weren't that bad. I looked on the data hub. It was just Nick Hayes, really. Those mistakes. He's a decent keeper, but he's young. He's not really played at this big level before regularly. So we had to get a solution. And we managed to find one. That solution on a free agent deal, someone we had on trial at the start of the season. I didn't sign him because I didn't want to prioritise the goalkeeper. We had other areas to fix. But now we needed a keeper and he was still available. So for 275 quid a week, I'm taking the Rafford aboard with the wages because they'll forgive me if we get in the playoffs or go up. We've got David Gregory, a 3-star sweeper keeper, so can play a little bit further forward if we need to as well. He's got better positioning, he's more agile, and to be honest, just as a sort of shot stopper, he's a little bit stronger too. He's 6'2", he's decent in the air as well. Crucially, commands that area. So making good decisions, his kicking's decent, he's just a good all-rounder. And I think even if we went to the National League, he's probably good enough to keep us up as well. But a brilliant signing. You might be able to see actually, he's played 7 games, we've only conceded 6 goals. It's under 1 a game, and that means we're going to be winning more than we lose. To fund that, we managed to get out Jonathan Lacey. I've tried to get 6 or 7 lads out either on loan or on transfer. We're really struggling to get people out of the club. I mentioned it earlier in the year. Jonathan Lacey, though, a younger one, he was a slight emergency backup. He had been involved a little bit. He'd been on the bench a few times. But him and Cerulli are neck and neck as emergency backups. So whichever one we could get out, we did. And Jonathan Lacey is that man. He was on 275 quid a week, so has directly been replaced by David Gregory. We're still over the wage budget, mind you. Moving on to the results though, and the effect that has had on the pitch, you can see that after the Hungerford defeat, we are unbeaten. And the Welling game was the first one Gregory played, and he did very well, because we started poorly in this game against the side that were bottom of the league. Later down the line though, we did get the goals, and OG helped us out at the start, but Stephen Gleeson and DeJean Noel Williams, who had to start, managed to make it a comfortable win in the end. And to be fair, given Sodiende was out injured, it was a brilliant couple of weeks for us. Away at Chippenham, a big side, they were up in 3rd at the time, ahead of us as it stood. We beat them 1-0. It was a fantastic performance. Noel Williams got the early goal, and then we defended so hard. You see, Sam Dreyer had to come in at centre-back. David Gregory was brilliant in goal again. And we just about clung on for a perfect away win. A 3-2 win followed at home at Dorking, a club we've managed on this channel before, of course. A late comeback with Pryor and McManus was not enough to halt us. Stephen Gleeson's penalty, Aaron Williams scored a thunderbolt, and DeJean Noel Williams got another one. Starting to look a good striker at this level again. A 2-1 win away at Chelmsford, a brace from Marsh Brown got the victory there. A 4-1 win at home to Dartford, a James Dobson hat-trick sealed by a penalty after Victor Sodiende had got his first goal back from injury. Into the FA Trophy, we've had a pretty kind run so far. Leatherhead at home we beat 2-0, Redmond and Ellis Watt scored the goals. 4 or 5 changes there, including Nick Hayes, who came in and really put in a solid display, so it's certainly not the end of the road for him entirely. A 1-1 draw away to Hampton and Richmond, maybe a little bit more disappointing. We were the better side, there were sides struggling against relegation, but we were pegged back after Marsh Brown's first half goal. A 2-1 victory against Slough, a very good win this. The first half we were brilliant. It was 2-0 at half time via James Dobson. It could have been 4, 5 or 6 and it wouldn't have flattered us. However, the second half, Slough went all out. Mark Nisbet scored an absolute cracker. Fraser Shaw, as you can see, then got sent off for a second yellow. And we clung on defensively. We were brilliant. We'd already made our changes, so people were out of shape, out of position, and we still got the victory. So brilliant performance, brilliant result, and just shows the spirit these lads have got at the moment. Momentum is a beautiful thing, and it continued with a rotated side at FC Romania. Third round of the FA Trophy, a comfortable win. Carruthers and Watts with late first half goals lead us into this one in pretty perfect form. We've got Guiseley in the fourth round of the FA Trophy. We've got a tough spell of league fixtures coming thick and fast. But I'm trusting these lads at the moment. They're doing absolutely fantastically. And if they continue, we might well be chasing more than the playoffs come the end of the year. So let's go and get into our Boxing Day fixture, the local derby between St Albans and Hemel Hempstead. If we win, we'll continue to approach the halfway mark at the top of the table. Ebbsfleet behind on goal difference at the minute. So let's go and see the lineup we've picked for today that can hopefully do the job against St Albans City. Right, so in addition to all of the brilliant things that have happened off the pitch, the momentum, the team cohesion increasing, we have really stripped back the tactic. So we've put Gleeson onto a more attacking duty, we've put the wing-backs onto a more attacking duty, which has worked really well going forward. But more importantly, we've taken off nearly all of the instructions. We've pushed higher up as a defence, which has allowed us to get further up the pitch more often. However, all of the other stuff, the working the ball into the box, the running at the defences, the distributing to certain people, the trying to play a certain way, we've changed it. We've just gone back to bare basics. We're training twice a week. We need to keep the lads' instructions simple. We need to keep the game plan clear. And it seems to have worked an absolute treat. So into the game we go. We've got Gregory between the sticks. Simpson and Shaw the fullbacks with Kopekwa and Redmond at centre-half. Ochieng, Mantum and Gleeson still the midfield three. Contracts need to be discussed soon with a couple of these. And then Marsh Brown, Dobson and Sedende are a brilliant front three for us. Let's get into the St Albans clash. On paper, it should be a winnable game. Games aren't played on paper though, and this is Boxing Day. Have they eaten too much Christmas pudding? Well, it's 6 changes from the FA Trophy tie last week, which shows you how much we were able to rotate there. St Albans have got a decent side. Of course, in real life, they've got a big FA Cup tie next week. But for now, we've got to try and put pay to their efforts. They've got 2 in midfield, including a very experienced David Noble. So I'm hoping we can just overrun them and get on top in that centre of the park. So we're back here, 15 minutes gone, with a perfectly placed free kick. And we know the quality James Dobson's got here. It's the reason he's never been replaced, despite being one of the worst players technically in the team. Because he is a brilliant dead ball specialist. Assists galore from corners and free kicks out wide. And goals galore from free kicks on the edge of the box. 1-0 Hemel Hempstead. And on a game like this, on a day like this, particularly in the pouring rain here, we need goals like that to just ease us and calm us into the game. As Clark gets the ball at the back for St Albans, we're seeing it from the kickoff, which probably isn't a good sign. Goes back to the goalkeeper Johnson. He'll probably play long here. We know what they're going to do. They try and get it up to the front man. And it's a great ball through in the end. Redmond mops up. Brilliant defending. Out to Simpson, the right back. Into Stephen Gleeson. Can he produce that creative spark? Is declining physically at quite a rate of knots. And Samir Carruthers is on the verge of overtaking him now. The reason I've dropped him today is he's just had a couple of poor weeks in training. As Dobson picks it up on the left again from a headed clearance. Chance to cross into the box. He's got to the byline. In towards Marsh Brown. He's been in good goal scoring form himself recently, but can't put that one away. But we look by far the better side as Noble's got the ball again. Gives it away to Mantum. We're robbing them of possession so often in their own half. Marsh Brown gets it from Simpson down the line. In towards Sedende. Loses out in the air. Headed clear as far as Jeffers. But look how deep the striker is. Look how deep the winger is. We're forcing them back. Dobson plays it into Gleeson. Gets it back again. Out on the left-hand side with a chance to cross. Can he find the right ball? Into Sedende. He's missed from 4 yards. He had to score that. Unfortunately though, we're wasting chances, and that could be costly in a game like this. We need that second to just calm things down, as it's into Shaw from the corner. Oh my words. We are absolutely brilliant today. The lads look fit, they look firing, and I'd really like to get 2 or 3 up so we can rest people. We've got another game in 48 hours. But what a performance so far. It's been brilliant, apart from the lack of finishing power. And at half time, it remains 1-0. Expected goals of 2.1. We've got to make sure we stay in the top gear for the second half, because if we fall down now, if we start to disappoint, if we start to get complacent, it's very easy for them to equalise. But look at the fitness difference. The likes of Goddard and Noble in the middle for them have got nothing left in the tank, and we look absolutely fine at the minute. Well, 15 to go. Time to make the first couple, I think. Gleeson will be replaced by Samir Carruthers. I'm going to replace Marsh Brown with Ellis Watts, who will have to change role a little bit. I think he'll be a inverted winger, and that'll be on the support duty. And then Simpson at right back can have a rest for Chris Paul. 3 changes made, 15 to go. Surely we can't blow it from here. 5 minutes left. I'm a little worried that it's only 1-0. I'm going to have to put the time wasting on because we are late in the game. St Albans will be throwing people at it. They've already left a couple up front. So let's get all of the duties back just a little bit and make sure we cling on for a crucial win. We'll leave the wingers a bit higher in this one because that's forced their fullbacks back. And we'll also get on the time wasting, the discipline. You know the drill by now. And we'll just slow the pace down. Not quite as bad as normal, but we've got to make sure we win. And ironically, after one of the best first half performances of the season, it was a really drab second half. But maybe the lads are preserving energy for 2 days' time. Nearly 3 on the expected goals front. Dobson got a 10 out of 10 in a 1-0 win, which is incredible. We had 13 corners. We didn't take our chances. But what a victory. We get another 3 points on the board. And we've got 2 days now to recover. We're going to be back to face Havant and Waterlooville, a big trip to the south coast. Cross your fingers that it all goes well. We are back just 2 days later with a big trip to Havant and Waterlooville, a massive ask and a stupid game really to be playing in between Christmas and New Year. However, the one change we're being recommended to make is Ellis Watson for Dobson, which suggests the star man is probably not fit. Let's go and have a look at the lineup. He's not quite fit. Everyone else is, rather surprisingly. I do think I might freshen things up a little bit. So Samir Carruthers will come in for Gleeson. Don't think I need to do much with the defence. And you know what? I am going to start Dobson. And then if I need to, I'll play Watts in the second St Albans game because I feel they're a weaker side. Aside from that one change in midfield then, nothing different in this lineup. We've got a really good thing going. We're playing well. I would love to add a bit more height to take advantage of set pieces because we've not taken advantage of corners. We concede a lot of our goals from there. But who do we want to take out of the team just to put in a tall player? I think at the moment, I'm probably happy to take the hit this season. Let's get into the game away on the south coast. And if all goes well, we'd like to continue our good unbeaten run into the new year. And here we go. It's a very good Havant and Waterlooville side. Paul Doswell, a very renowned manager, very good one. The likes of Godfrey Poku, former Luton man, who I luckily got to interview on a podcast, lovely guy. Oscar Goburn, Billy Clifford, Abdoulaye Baggy, they're all former EFL players. Tommy Wright's a good player. Sam Magri, the centre-half. Josh Pasley, I recognise the whole team. Scott Rendell, the FA Cup hero for Luton on the bench. There are so many good players in that Havant side. What we've got to hope is that they had a tougher Boxing Day fixture than us, and maybe physically we'll have an advantage. We'll probably find out as we go along, but early doors, we need to get on top. If we can get an early goal, I think we've got a good chance. As early doors, it's a throw-in on the left-hand side for Havant, deep in their own half. Again, we're keeping them pegged back by playing this higher defensive line. The problem is, the odd occasion they do get in behind, we're conceding little one-on-ones, but we'll take that for the advantage it's given us. As Rooney goes back to Magri, he can play out from the back, but instead goes right to Pasley. There's options down the line, and he's just going himself. He's got all the quality in the world. And his Havant side on paper are one of the few in the league that are much better than us. As he goes back to the keeper, they're just happy to keep the ball for now. Very rare to see a side at this level that aren't playing quite direct. They're playing lovely football, trying to keep it on the deck, trying to move it around quickly. And that's the sort of thing that could tire us if we give them too much of it. As they get in behind us, I talked about that defensive line. Roberts to the byline, into right. It's a good block by Redmond. It would have gone straight to him otherwise. And it probably would have been 1-0 to the hosts. It's still a corner kick to defend though. The danger's not gone yet. Clifford into the back stick. Carruthers heads away. I think we get away with that one. But it's straight back with a Havant throwing on the right hand side. Pasley and Baggy playing a 1-2. It's back to Magri. He finds Rooney. And he can just bring it forward. There's no real pressure on him here. Into Goburn in midfield. So many good players technically in this Havant side. Godfrey Poku finds Roberts. It's a brilliant ball over the top. It's a wonderful dink. And it just cannons off the crossbar. The keeper was beaten. Gregory, that's the disadvantage of the sweeper keeper. But he's not yet made a proper mistake. So I'm not going to blame him for getting caught out there. As we have our first chance to come forward on the left-hand side. Dobson's giving it away. He looks shattered already. He's on a yellow card. And maybe I've made the mistake sticking with someone who played that well. And it's actually going to cost him now because he's going to come out of form. As Marsh Brown gets it on the right-hand side. Through to Sedende, right side of the box. Dobson still in there. He can change his game yet. He's back at the back stick. Into Sedende. Must be onside, he is. And James Dobson, as I just started slating him, has turned up with a crucial assist. Sedende gets his 10th for the season. He's not been in great form since his injury. But it doesn't matter. If he turns up when we need a winner, I'm not going to complain at all. And we reach half-time with a very different game to what we've seen previously. Up until stoppage time, that had been our only shot on target. And it's a nice change for us to be ruthless with very few opportunities. I am going to take Dobson off. One, because I don't want to risk the red card. Second, he's absolutely cream-crackered. So Ellis Watts is actually a better replacement on paper. My worry is we just lose a bit of the set-piece threat, because Gleeson would have been the second best as well. But into the second half we go, things going swimmingly, and as long as we get a result in this game, I'm pretty happy to be honest. Well, we got to see again that they are struggling a little bit physically, Havant. Not as much of an advantage as we had against St Albans, but at least they're on level pegging with us. It's not like they've got that superiority late on. As Clifford gets the ball 30 yards out, you've got to applaud. That's the technical ability we talked about. Having Poku, Goburn and Clifford in the middle. They've got goal scorers. They've got brilliant players. And that's just a wonderful strike. You can't do much about that. As Simpson throws in from the right to Manton. Gets it up to Marsh Brown. Simpson's on the overlap again. Sedende's in the middle. Watts is coming in. Gets up with the header. But it's wide at the far post. It's not quite good enough. And with an hour gone, we're going to have to make changes. Because we're under a little bit of pressure here. As Goburn's got the ball in midfield again. Up towards Baggy, flicked on for right, but Kopekwe heads clear to Carruthers and Manton. Up to Sedende, who's run the channel well here. Goes down the right-hand side. He needs support, though. Gets to the byline. Chance to cross. Brilliant ball in. Just deflects through to the keeper, or that may well have found Watts. Warner will play long from this goal kick, though. And now we've got more defending to do. It's a big one over the top towards right. Redmond heads it back to his keeper. Superb defending. We look really good. And bar that absolute rocket, we've not really been under threat as Sedende goes on for the long goal kick. Headed away to Marsh Brown. He can bring it down the right into Sedende at the front post. And the referee has given a penalty kick. The problem I have here is I want to make changes because Shaw and Carruthers aren't playing well. But Marsh Brown and Simpson are knackered. And I don't know which two to take off. So instead of making a decision, I'm just going to procrastinate for 5 minutes. It's going to be taken by the skipper Sam Manton. Steps up right-footed. Absolutely brilliant penalty. Smashed it as hard as he could and it was on target. And with that combination, the keeper's never likely to save it. Hemel Hempstead back in the lead. The run is continuing. 17 minutes to go and Shaw is knackered now as well. So I'm going to put Simpson to left back and Paul over to the right because mostly Havant's threat has come down the left. Then the other option is Samir Carruthers, who's complacent and not playing well, or Marsh Brown, who's not fit. But I don't really have a right winger on the bench, so I think that's made my decision. Stephen Gleeson on adds bundles of experience to the team, and hopefully we can hold on, because we've got a few days rest after. Well, still, with 7 minutes to go, as we get him down the left with Watts, we'll come back to that. He's into the area, holds it up for Gleeson. Surely someone had to shoot there. Back to Simpson, whose shot is saved. Excellent football on the counter. What I was going to say, with 7 minutes to go, is Havant's only shot on target is still that thunderbolt from 30 yards. So without one moment of absolute brilliance, we'd be keeping a clean sheet and winning this comfortably. We deserve so much credit, as it's a throw on the right-hand side for Paul. He's got short options, but will he go long instead? Paul plays short to Marsh Brown. 1-2 back to the right back. Chance to cross in. There's 4 in the box. We're really committing men forwards. And although I'm thinking about putting a time wasting on, I actually fancy our chances of a third. We've been absolutely sublime. As Marsh Brown gets it back again to Manton. Marsh Brown in towards Watts. Loses out in the air. But this has been a vintage display, and if we don't win it, it will be absolutely criminal. We've got 4 minutes of stoppage time to go. I'm going to go and put the defensive stuff on. But we deserve to hang on, and I think we will. Well, into 4 minutes of stoppage time. It's a Havant and Waterlooville corner. Kopekwa rises really strongly. They don't deserve it. Don't let them score, please. To Clifford on the edge. We know the ability he's got. It says half the ground thought it was in. So did I. If he'd scored 2 in a game, it would have been absolutely ridiculous. But he hasn't. They don't. And we win 2-1. A brilliant festive fixture list. You can see the difference in this side from even the last episode. More confidence in the goalkeeper. A brilliant side that is looking cohesive. And we are in brilliant form. If we have a look at the dynamics, you can see the team cohesion is now good. The one thing I did forget to show you was the youth intake preview, so let me very quickly do that before we finish. We've got 2 potentially good strikers coming through. We've got a good fullback coming through, but it's still a poor intake overall. I'm surprised. I didn't think we were even going to get a youth intake because we didn't have any youth players to start with. But that's a really good sign. If we can get even one player that can contribute, I think it's a benefit we weren't expecting to have. So I'm really pleased on that front. I'm delighted with how it's going on the pitch. 37 points. We've passed that 2 points a game mark. And we're starting to look like fluent goal scorers. We're playing brilliant attacking football. And surely now 11 points clear. We're definitely going to make the playoffs this season. We're going to try and get through as much football as possible before coming back. Maybe the whole of January. If we get through and get a big FA trophy tie, we might show that. But if not, we'll be back some point here. Maybe middle of February, just to show a couple of games. And then try and get through to the end of the year. Anything big happens in between, we'll be back. But if you did enjoy that one and you are liking the series, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. This one will be back tomorrow at 11:30. In the meantime, we've got the head coach at 3:30 today. And we'll also be live on Twitch at 6 PM with Derby County in our beta save. You can find links to all the playlists and the Twitch channel in the eye above. But a massive thank you for watching. Your continued support as always. It is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you next time as the title charge continues. We're performing above all expectation here with Hemel Hempstead Town.